Hello, beautiful people of the world. Welcome back. I see you're still alive. That is pretty good. So we're motoring on again. Obviously, you've just met mini me, little me. Yeah, I was a pretty happy kid. I'm not gonna lie. This wasn't really me. So once that happened, sort of changed how I looked upon life. Anyway, chapter 7. This one is called Ruthless. So, once again, sit back, relax, enjoy. Lukz! A distant voice calls out. Lukz, wake up! A scared voice says again. Lukz gently opens his eyes to see Darcy shining a small light directly into them. Ah! He swipes the light away from his face. What are you doing, Darcy? He asks in a daze. You were shaking and mumbling. I thought you were scared or having another night terror, she replies, concerned. Ha! Me? Scared? Really? Darling, I fight demons for a living. You really think a little dream is going to scare me? He says, smirking an arrogant grin. No, but this might, she replies, pulling out a tiny four-legged creature from his arm. He immediately grabs it, crushing it in his hand. What? Was that a baby Terry? He says, glaring towards her. Terry? Who's Terry? She replies, concerned. Oh, you know, the demon thing that ripped my arm half to shreds, he replies while sitting upright on a freshly cleaned medical bed. Lukz opens his palm to see a mangled baby demon, identical to Terry. Yuck! He cringes, wiping the crushed black corpse over some crystal white sheets. Darcy looks down at the large black smear, slightly shaking her head. Lukz, you really do know how to be an arse, she says, aggravated. He smirks his half-butchered face towards her. Hey, don't look at me with those big, beautiful eyes. These sheets get burned anyway. Saves me a job, Lukz adds, raising his eyebrows. It's so annoying. Anyway, the creature, why Terry? Darcy says, rolling her eyes. Well, remember Paul? He says. She nods, rolling her head. Yes, the one you burnt in midair while stuffing a sock into a vodka bottle, making a Molotov, blah, blah, blah. Heard that one before 100 times. Lukz smiles. Well, it helps me remember the creature thingies. If I give them common names. Right. Well, that makes no sense, but neither do you. So, I'm just going to go with it, she says, hushly, while pulling a sarcastic smile. Anyway, what the hell was that thing doing in my arm? He demands. I don't know. You passed out after the special forces took Kevin away. So, once I had given my statement, I took you to get an x-ray, just to see how severe the damage to your arm was. When I noticed Terry Jr.? Lukz butts in. See, the name thing works, he says, smiling innocently. Darcy glares at him. As I was saying, the thing that got inside of you must have really wanted you dead. I'm guessing this was like a backup plan, in a way? She says, confused by herself. What? A backup plan? That is just crazy. These things are getting ruthless. I need to talk to Kevin. Where is he? Darcy flicks out her phone. They're questioning him on the so-called attack. They should release him within the next few days. As in my statement, I explained he was just acting out of pure desperation for you nearly dying. Plus, Don can vouch for him. It's not like he hasn't got you out of worse, she says, raising her eyebrows. Hey, that guy was dead, so technically taking his car isn't stealing, I think. Lukz pokes his tongue out. Oi! Darcy says, trying to grab it. Okay, fine, I'm going home then. I'll text him now. But if you see him first, tell him to come to mine when he's out, Lukz says, smirking towards her. Fine, Darcy replied, sarcastically smirking back. So, that's chapter 7, okay? You've sort of met and starting to realise, I'm guessing now, what I'm like. And a little bit more about Darcy. But as you can see, these things are not giving up. They're trying their hardest to kill me, basically. But they're also not letting up on other people. So you're still asking a lot of questions. Why, how, blah, blah, blah. Carry on watching this one, because I'm going to go into chapter 8. Okay, this one is called Can't Beat Me. Two loud knocks thud on Lux's front door. He slouches forward on an old brown leather recliner sofa. "Just a minute!" he shouts out. "Die, bitch, die!" he murmurs to himself, forcefully smashing on a multiple of buttons of a game controller. Another two thuds immediately slam onto his door, followed by a loud, furious voice. "Lux, let me in! And stop playing Death Fighter! I'm freezing!" Kevin calls out, shivering in his tar black jacket from an icy breeze rolling around outside. "Just a minute!" Lux calls back, keeping his eyes glued to a large curved OLED screen mounted on his wall, while a couple of overly muscular creatures battle against one another. "Almost there." He growls, shifting his whole body to one side, imitating a super ripped, half-human, half-bull character. "Jump! Jump!" Lux yelps out as his bullhorn centaur leaps into the air, dodging a green lizard monster's sliding leg attack. Lux's character spins in midair, aiming its horn downwards towards a helpless lizard man. Pummeling to the ground, he pierces its horns through the lizard's shoulders, trapping it underneath him. The bullman starts thundering thousands of punches into the lizard's body.
"To the death!"
A loud, dramatic voice calls out from some surround sound speakers. He smiles from ear to ear, causing all his scars to bunch together as he stares ominously towards the screen. The lizard's body starts ricocheting limply against the desolate tarmac road, while Lux's character batters it beneath the solid concrete underlay. Suddenly, a giant tidal wave of blood spurts over the screen, completely covering it, slowly dripping away to reveal,
"You win!"
a dramatic voice calls out as his bullman stands proudly with one leg on the lizard's crushed body. Lux throws his controller down, slamming it against the old torn-up sofa. "Get in! Still unbeaten!" Mwah! He says playfully, jumping to his feet while whipping out a quick hype dance move. Kevin smashes the door with his large, black buckled boots. "Lux!" he calls out. Lux quickly glances over, then walks the opposite way, going straight into a small open-plan kitchen nestled in between a large wall which separates his living bedroom from the kitchen. He swings open the fridge door, then peers inside. "I think I deserve a victory pint," he smugly remarks. Another three huge thuds crash onto the door, smashing its entire frame. "Lux, for Christ's sake, I'm still out here!" Kevin wails out when the door suddenly flings open. He stops shouting. His eyes burst wide open as he stares towards an expressionless Lux. Lux smears his hand across his face, wiping away Kevin's spit, as Kevin stays completely still, trying to hold back a small chuckle, almost as if he had been told off. Lux finishes wiping, then grabs Kevin's hand. Kevin closes his eyes, clenching in fear, until feeling something being placed firmly into his grasp. "Ah, it's cold!" He looks down to see a freshly poured, ice-cold pint of beer brimming the top of a crystal-clear glass. He looks back to Lux, confused. Staring directly at his exposed face, a huge smile creeps onto both pure and broken sides of it. Lux lifts up his spare hand, ready to shake. "Thank you for saving my life, man," he softly responds. Kevin stands startled, slowly lifting his, gently grabbing Lux's. No problem, I guess," Kevin hesitantly replies, startled by Lux's kind gesture. A brief silence passes by. Then Lux turns around and heads over to his turd brown sofa, shortly followed by Kevin. "So, how was the helicopter ride?" Lux says, trying not to smirk. "Oh, I knew you was going to do this. Go on, get it all out your system, but keep in mind, they thought I was some sort of extremist," Kevin crudely adds. "Ha! You? Really? What do they think you do?" Lux says, edging closer. "Oh, did they hang you by your sack, asking you to say where your leader was hiding?" Kevin slightly tilts his head. "No," he replies unamused, sipping his beer. Lux edges forwards again. Ooh, what about the old strap your hands to a table, break all your fingers until you told them where your group will next attack? "No," Kevin blurts out. Okay. Lux glances around his flat, scratching his head. I got an idea. I bet they tied you up, put you in a pitch black room, then played Nian Cat on repeat, Lukz asked, glaring right up against Kevin's face. No, you idiot, he replies, pushing him away. Lukz sinks back into his seat, flipping out the footrest, because that's what I would do. He adds, bobbing his head up and down while saying, Lukz, shut up! Kevin shouts. Seriously, that would never happen and you know it, he says, eyeballing him. Lukz grabs one game controller, flicking on his TV screen. Well, it would if I was chief, he replies smugly. Well, you're not, so quit whining. All they did was revoke my gun license and give me some community service, Kevin states, gulping down another mouthful of beer. Lukz shrugs his shoulders. Fair enough. It's not like you're going to stop carrying guns around anyway. You're more in love with those things than I am with Triple B, Lukz replies, selecting a 2-player option on the screen. True, Kevin replies, fist bumping him. Lukz flings the controller over, staring blankly. Want to see if you can finally beat me? He says as it lands in Kevin's lap. Kevin grabs it, then immediately clicks a few buttons, selecting the next couple of options on the screen without even looking. Alright, you're on. Let me just boost my concentration levels. He replies, downing his beer, slamming the empty glass onto Lux's malted grey carpet. Lukz chuckles to himself, picks up his pint, downing his as well. Ha! Boost your concentration levels. Let's do this. The TV screen fades into a blanked out page, rapidly spiralling around until turning into a blistering sunny desert scene, with 2 fighters standing poised, locked in the desolate surroundings together. It zooms in towards a bulging, muscular older gentleman, with long crystal white hair tied backwards, exposing his pointy, full-faced beard, glued to his old leathery skin. Crouching in a mantis-like stance, his decorative gold and red kimono sits loosely over his shoulders, swaying in a gentle roaming breeze, with a pair of baggy-styled fabric trousers rippling beside it. Kevin turns towards Lukz, bobbing his head. Let's see if you can actually beat Master Chow. He gloats. Lukz grins childishly towards him as the screen hurtles across a sandy sea, stopping dead as it peers upwards to show a colossal 10-foot tall man with arms and legs doubling an average-sized human's, all draped in an iridescent white suit, gripped to its body from what seems to be strings of thread sewn within its skin. Even its facial features are all tied together, with its mouth, nose and eyes all wound shut by the same thread which binds its dispersed suit to his skin. The only dominant characteristic between its charcoal black skin is a ruby red blood smears painted across its white suit. Needle is the best. Get ready to have your head chopped off, Lukz replies playfully. Kevin winces from the disturbing sight. Who the hell is Needle? He calls out, twitching his face sideways. Lukz smirks. Needle is a character I created from the myth of Chango. Kevin scowls towards him. I'm probably going to regret this, but what or who is Chango? He asks fearfully. Ha! You never heard of Chango Chunk, aka Needle? The drug lord who used to kill anyone who stepped foot within his turf with the smallest of puncture wounds? Lukz replies excitedly. Kevin cowardly shakes his head. No. Lux's grin grows even larger, splitting between his face as he edges closer to Kevin. Okay, so basically, this ruthless drug lord used to send all his victims to a crooked coroner, which made every murder look like a suicide or an accident, letting Chango get off free every time. However, one day, Chango himself got murdered at the top of this 15-story high building, falling all the way down. Splat! His body doubled in length from the impact, stretching it to a superhuman size. He was dead though. Next, a rival drug lord sent his body to the same coroner which he used to use, making his death look like a suicide. Yet, all the murders Chango had made this coroner cover up turned him completely insane. So once the investigation was over, The coroner experimented on Chango's body, sewing his blood-stained suit to his black skin, resembling all the bloodshed he had made the coroner wear. He sewed his fingers and toes together, showing the lack of choice the coroner had. Then he stitched every facial feature together, marking all the times he had made the coroner keep quiet. But finally, the coroner applied some calcium carbonate and liquid titanium to his crippled bones, solidifying his elongated body, replicating how Chango had stretched the coroner to insanity. Lukz chants. Kevin's jaw drops. That is just sick. Is it true? He adds, intently. Lukz nods. Maybe. The only evidence there is describes one day where the coroner's body was found completely mutilated by two huge blunt objects. Plus, Needle's body was gone. They both sit still. Kevin glances back towards the screen, cringing from Needle's gnarled body. Great. Another one of your sick fantasies is wedged into my brain. Can we please just start this game? Lukz simpers. Sure. Suddenly, a large 3, 2, 1 flashes on the screen, immediately followed by
Fight!
Blaring out some speakers. Some heavy drum and bass music kicks in. The old man explodes towards Needle, causing sand to cascade behind him. His blistering speed crumbles the ground with every step, pluming more and more dust into the air. Forcing his palms together, Chow creates a bulldozer-like scoop as he leans forwards with his legs hurtling behind him. Needle stands poised, gently swaying side to side with the sun almost welding him to a thick sandy floor. Try and dodge Master Chow's army, Kevin blurts out. Lukz doesn't reply. His eyes stay fixed on the screen while he slightly moves the thumbstick left and right. Still bolting towards Lux's character, Kevin forces the old man's hands downwards, causing a momentary pause, instantly chased by a gargantuan wave of earth. Soaring sky high, it barrels forwards, tearing towards Lux's now completely still character. Kevin slowly turns his head towards Lukz, pulling a gigantic smirk. Suddenly, Needle bounds towards the Earthen army, leaping left and right as it charges forward. Kevin frowns. He knows this move will finish Needle in one hit. Lukz bites his bottom lip, then starts rapidly spinning the thumbstick, twirling it immensely. Needle leaps into the air and spins uncontrollably, flinging his arms in front of his head, almost into a diving position. No bloody way you're going to be spinning fast enough, Kevin says, gawping with anticipation. Echoes through the speakers. Needle unfolds himself in midair, then plummets to the ground. A thundering crash blares out, rippling the desert floor, causing a plume of dust to rise up and settle down to reveal Needle unscathed. Lukz turns towards Kevin, implanted with an even bigger smirk upon his face. That's why you don't mess with Needle. Kevin snarls while staring at the screen. His dropped jaw snaps shut. Fine, he shouts out, leaning closer to the TV. No silly trick. Let's do this old school. You're going to get smoked. Ha! Bring it on, jailbait! Lukz replies, gawping at the screen. A sudden silence breaks out as Master Chow and Needle lock in eye to eye, standing only a few meters apart. The music promptly changes, blasting out more drum and bass. Needle calls his leg backwards, launching a gigantic kick, smashing it towards the old man's face. Master Chow quickly barricades himself behind his arm, blocking Needle's attack. He fumbles sideways, ricocheting away from the colossal blast, then softly lands back to his feet, flinging his draped hair away from his face as he stands poised. The old man instantly digs his hands into the ground, then immediately flings his legs over the back of his head, flipping forwards and launching a boulder of earth straight towards Needle's head. Needle's legs quickly split apart into a boxing-like stance as he flattens his hands. Splash! The boulders split into 4 pieces, but one batters the gigantic man around his face, dazing its vision. Needle stumbles backwards until Master Chow charges towards the stunned giant, forcing a barrage of punches into the expressionless beast's elongated torso. Needle forces his hands in front of Master Chow's rapid fist, following every punch, blocking, pushing, stopping dead each lethal blow until leaping into the air and swinging his leg around. Master Chow bends his body underneath the kick, causing Needle to spiral out of control. He lands facing backwards, so Chow batters the sole of his foot directly centre of Needle's back, blasting an almighty through his body. Shockwaves of energy sling him across the desert floor, folding him down to his knees. Needle's blank face gradually looks upwards, focused upon Master Chow sprinting towards him. He quickly stumbles back to his feet, flattening his hands out once again, then rears into his boxing stance. Master Chow bounds left and right, surging towards him. Needle swipes right, Chow dodges while forcing an uppercut into his stomach. Needle folds into the air, quickly jabbing its right hand towards Master Chow's face, but he catches it, battering them away. Punch, kick, spinning through kick, uppercut. Both characters brawl under a blistering desert heat. Needle spins around again, splicing his hand through the old man's leg. Master Chow's calf splits into two pieces as he tramples the same leg into Needle's blade-like arm, crushing it against the floor. Needle limply jabs his other arm forwards, directing it toward Chow's heart, but the master forces it with his right forearm, flipping the rest of his arm around and locking it in tight.
Finish him!
Blurts out, flashing over the screen. No, get up, you idiot! Lukz panics. Kevin stays glued to the screen, then rapidly clicks a combination of buttons. Master Chow snaps one of Needle's arms, then crushes his other, rendering him paralysed. Chow flips away, landing softly in a tiger stance. He bows his head, then suddenly tears towards the motionless beast, laying slumped on the desert floor. Jumping into the air, Master Chow folds himself into a pike position, or double flipping forwards, he smashes down onto Needle's body, flinging him into the air. Chow crouches down, then catapults himself upwards. He batters Needle's sewn face with an almighty uppercut, blasting them both higher into a luminous blue sky. Chow clinches the gigantic man's body, accelerating into a typhoon spin and bombards Needle's body back to the ground, causing a thunderous explosion to ignite.
KO!
Calls out from the TV screen. Master Chow gently lands back down, bowing forwards. Kevin turns to Lukz, but without saying a word, Lukz smashes his controller down, screaming out, "What move was that?" He shouts in complete awe. Kevin lets out a small smirk, then replies, "Typhoon Tombstone." Lukz sits back, speechless. How, when, where did you learn that? He babbles. Well, every time I carry you home from Spoons, you lay passed out. So I practice special moves while making sure you don't choke on your own sick, he replies proudly. You absolute cheat, Lukz harshly shouts back, standing up and grabbing Kevin's empty glass. Well, if Needle had immense speed, longer blades for arms, and wasn't slower than Internet Explorer, I'm sure I would have beaten your ass, Lukz replies, walking towards his fridge. As if. Master Chow's the best. You could modify your character all you wanted, but he still wouldn't win. Heck, I bet if Needle was even a few feet taller and had a longer reach, you still couldn't touch Chow, he says, folding his arms. Ah, fine, Lukz replies in a strop. Do you want another can of concentration before we start round 2? He calls out, swinging open the fridge door. Yeah, go on then. Don't want to make it too easy for myself now, do I? Kevin replies, winking at him. Shut up, Lukz says, tossing Kevin a can of beer. Lukz slams the door with his ass, holding 2 more cans for himself, then dashes back to his seat. So, anyway, how are the showers in jail? Lukz adds, sniggering. Kevin shoves him, shaking his head. Come on, best 2 out of 3. Lukz smirks back. You're on, he says, as the drum and bass kicks back in, followed by
Round 2!
Well, there we go. So, that was 7 and 8. Obviously, you met Mini-Me, and you've sort of got to know a little bit about Kevin and I, and how we just sort of chill out. But you need to come back for the next one, because it literally blew my mind what happened. So, it will blow yours. It will be just sort of crazy. But please, like, subscribe, ring the bell, come back, and enjoy the next episode. Thank you. I love you.
Darkness is the victor, demons crowd around, dancing as they whisper.